Like, should I relax or should I lock in?
Playing middle as a college athlete, I would say, like, the roar of the audience, the best feeling ever.
My faith is everything. It makes me who I am. And I wish that you could talk smack on the golf course. Like, that'd make it so much more fun.
I had some, like, decision paralysis. Should I sleep or should I do the schoolwork?
There's momentum goes both ways, right? So if you start winning a lot, that momentum is positive. If you start losing a lot, get that losing momentum. And we just got to find a way to overcome that.
Let's be great today, Lions.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Live Top Podcast. I'm your host, Damian Traylor, and today I'm here with Coach Christian Buckmire. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to interview you today. How you feeling today, man?
I'm good. I had a long spring break. Got to go home, do nothing. That's always nice.
No, facts. I really enjoyed my spring break too, man. But Live Top family, we're back, better than ever, and we're here with a great episode host right now. So, Coach, can you tell me what sport you coach and how long you've been coaching here at Piedmont?
So I coach women's basketball. That's why we're in the gym. And just finished my third year, going into my fourth year.
So far, how you been liking Piedmont so far as, like, an assistant coach here?
I love it. So I actually graduated from Piedmont back in 2017, and that's kind of how me and Coach Purdy established our relationship, because I was a student assistant my junior and senior year. And when the job opened back up, I was able to come back. But I love it here. That's why I came back.
Yeah, Coach, you kind of go more in depth about your journey here, how you became the assistant coach here at Piedmont. I know you coached in high school as well. I was doing my homework on you and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I actually got my coaching start here at Piedmont. Out of high school, I went to East Georgia State College. It's a JUCO in Swainsboro, about 35 minutes from Statesboro, where Georgia Southern is. And I tried to walk on there. Didn't end up working out. That whole starting five ended up going D1, so I was never going to play anyway.
Yeah.
And then I transferred here, tried the same thing, but the year that I got here, Coach Neely had brought in 9 people. And now that I'm on this side of it, I kind of understand that recruiting aspect. Those were his guys that he recruited. So it didn't matter if I walked on or not. It would have been hard to try to earn minutes, especially bringing in 9 people. But then I immediately tried to transition into coaching. So I went to Coach Neely first, but he had back then you could have GAs, and he had one, so he didn't need me. So then I immediately went to Coach Purdy, and she was all for it, and that's kind of how I got my coaching start. That was 15-16 was my junior year, and then 17-18, or 15-16, and then 16-17 was my senior year. And so those 2 years I was here as a student assistant. And after I graduated, I went to coach high school at Dutchtown High School in Henry County with he was my AAU coach my senior year, going into my senior year. So it was kind of cool because when I went back, I was just kind of telling him, like, I want to get into coaching. So for him to be able to give me an opportunity, I was extremely blessed. Me and him still keep in contact to this day. I actually tried to recruit his daughter. She's going to William & Mary, though. But
she D1?
Yeah, she's tough. She went to St. Francis.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I was there with him those 2 years, was part of their first ever region championship, first ever Elite Eight run in school history. And then we went back to the Elite Eight that next year. And then when he left, I followed him to Lakeside High School in DeKalb and was there for about a year. And that's when kind of COVID hit. I wasn't on staff at Druid Hills, but a good friend of mine was coaching there. So I would just kind of go to the game to sit behind the bench and kind of consult, because he would always ask questions and stuff about, like, game management and all that type of stuff. And then I was just working regular jobs during around that COVID time, still trying to get into basketball. Was coaching AAU on the guys side. And then I seen a post on Facebook when Coach Cochran left to coach the system before me, when he got the job at Union, and I screenshotted it and sent it to Purdy. It was like, can I come back now? And I was blessed enough to be able to get the position, and that was 2022.
Now, Coach, it seems like you've been very involved around the sport of basketball for the past couple of years, coaching-wise, but I want to know, and I want you to tell the viewers as well, what made you fall in love with the sport of basketball?
I've been playing basketball. I'm retired now, but I started playing basketball at the age of 5. And, rec ball, church league, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But didn't really take it serious till I was about 10, 11, 12. And then I think that's when I started to kind of come into my own. Because it's one thing to be good with rec basketball players, but when I turned 12, got to middle school, that's when I started playing AAU, and I realized it's a different world of basketball.
Yeah.
Where you're playing against the top level talent in the country. Like I played against, what's his name? Kyle, he plays for the Grizzlies.
Kyle Anderson?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Kyle Anderson?
Yep,
Yeah.
Slow-mo. He used to play for a team called the Long Island Lightning. Played against him in Nationals in Orlando. It was an awakening.
He gave y'all
Bro, he was giving us buckets.
How much he gave y'all? 40?
Nah, I think it was like 30.
30.
It might as well have been 40. I mean, it was a close game, but he's a 6'6", 6'7" point guard. There was nothing that we could do.
Yeah.
But, different. I played against Shabazz Muhammad. There's a guy that went to UCLA, Jordan Adams, that played for the Atlanta Celtics. I can go down a whole list of names, but it was a different world of basketball that I was exposed to. And I think my love for, I really started to fall in love for it when I really started to understand it more. When I got to 8th grade, going into high school, is when I knew I was I could be pretty good at this.
Yeah.
So I was originally zoned for South Gwinnett High School, but I went to Five Forks Middle, which is a Brookwood school, because that year Snellville failed the annual year progress or whatever. So my parents sent me to Brookwood, and I think for my development, that was one of the best decisions that they could have did, because I was the best player on the team, and I didn't have to defer to anybody. But playing AAU and then going into that situation, my confidence level was at an all-time high.
Yeah, skyrocket.
Yeah, and then going into my freshman year that summer, I was practicing with the varsity, and the saying iron sharpens iron, but doing that in that summer and then playing AAU with the teammates that I've been playing with since we were 10, 11, 12 years old, the game just kind of started to slow down for me. And then at that age in high school, I was a role player, but in AAU, my dad was putting me on teams where I was the best player, so I knew how to put the ball in the basket in a variety of different ways. But yeah, I would say definitely 9th grade, 10th grade is definitely when I started to fall in love with the game. I was a part of my freshman year, a team. We won region and went to the final Elite Eight. We lost to Milton, and that year they had Dejon Parker, Shannon Scott, a whole bunch of D1 basketball players, Evan Nolte. That team was stacked and loaded. But then the next year, we had a really good team. So freshman year, I played JV, got moved up to varsity at the end. Same thing, sophomore year, I played JV, got moved up to varsity. Junior year was 6th man on varsity, and senior year, I was starting. But just by that time, I was a senior, the game just kind of really slowed down for me. And I thought I was better than what I was in hindsight. I had offers to go to LaGrange and Oglethorpe. And in hindsight, I wish I would have taken those just to get the college basketball experience. Because even at East Georgia, playing in open gyms with those guys who are legit Division I talent, Jordan Johnson, and I'm going to Tennessee Tech, and me and him would go at it in those open gyms. But I knew I could play on that level. I just didn't get the opportunity, or I didn't take the opportunity that was afforded to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's definitely the high school years is when I realized that I really loved the game of basketball. And I realized that I love coaching because at Dutchtown, I was doing it for free. I was a permanent substitute, making I think $100 a day for however many days. But my coach kind of set it up to where I could be in the elementary school. And in Henry County, at Dutchtown at least, all those schools are in a pod. So it's the high school, the middle school, and the elementary school, right across the street. So I could just get it, be done, and walk across the street to the high school. But yeah, those 2 years grinding, doing it for free. We had practice at 6 a.m. I was still living with my parents in Snellville, driving to Henry County, an hour back and forth. So those
Georgia traffic.
Yeah, those days were the grind, man. But that's when I realized I really love doing this.
Yeah, but I know you talked about coaching, but Coach, you were a coach at high school at Dutchtown, where you, like you said, won regional championships. How has that success from coaching high school transferred to success you had coaching here at Piedmont in college?
Honestly, I think it goes back to my playing career. Just seeing the game differently, sitting on the sideline. That's the only thing coaching and playing. You're in the game and you can affect the game in different ways. But coaching is almost the same thing. When you switch up a scheme or whatever it is, a defense. For instance, in the championship game, in the CCS interview, I said the third quarter, but it was the second quarter. We went zone. And that was a turning point for us because we were getting stops. They couldn't make they couldn't hit shots from the outside. They were killing us in the paint. So we got stops and we were able to get out and transition and kind of create some separation. So just things like that, I start to see the game a little bit differently. Our point guards have it the worst because I see everything. So it's like when they don't see it, I'm like, how do you not see it?
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to that, being a point guard, like the floor general, being able to see everything, see things before they happen. And it's really a chess match, trying to put pieces in the right place, schemes, what you do defensively, offensively, and all that different type of stuff. But I think it goes back to the playing career, not so much the high school coaching to college, because at the end of the day, it's basketball.
Yeah.
And then in high school, I was coaching boys. So that's a completely different type of game. The athleticism is above the rim. It's a much faster pace, much more physical. The game is called differently, which I don't really agree with, but I can understand. But it's two completely different games in the sense of coaching styles as well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, speaking of Piedmont, I want to know your overall thoughts about this past season. To me, being a broadcaster, I broadcast a couple of y'all games. I feel like y'all had a great season this year. One of the best seasons y'all had in a minute. So I want to know your overall thoughts about the season, though.
I agree. I think it was, I won't say great, just because that I'm never satisfied.
Yeah.
And winning the conference championship and being co-regular season champions, that is an accomplishment within itself, and we won't undermine that. But to me, that's an expectation. No disrespect to any of the teams in our conference, but I know with the players that we have and the staff that we have, like, that is an expectation. Yeah. I don't think those people, again, no disrespect, I just don't think those people are on our level, to be honest. I view us as, I want us to be viewed as a national program. And until we make a run at an NCAA tournament, we won't be viewed as that. But I think we have the players, we obviously have the staff to do it. We just have to go out there and do it. But again, to piggyback what you said, it was a good year. Every year that I've been back, we've been getting better. First year was 15 wins. Last year was 17 wins. This year we were 20-8, 14-2 in conference, undefeated at home. So it was big to host the conference tournament here. First ever CCS title. Yeah. A lot of firsts this year. History was made. I wish we could have made history in the NCAA tournament. I felt like we had the team to do it, and we got a really good matchup with Randolph-Macon. But yeah, it was a good year. It was a great year.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get into a little bit of the NCAA tournament and a couple questions later. But since you've been here coaching at Piedmont, a lot of players have been awarded by the CCS as like a coach and a trainer that you are for the women's team. What does it mean to you watching all the hard work the ladies put in be recognized?
It's really gratifying, especially as a coach, for those that do put in the work, because a lot of them at this level it's hard, because at D3 they put a big emphasis on academics, but for those that do get in the gym and put in the work, and for them to be recognized for it, it's amazing to see. Andelin was player of the year. I think she had a really good year compared to last year. It was a complete 180 or whatever they say, complete 180, and she just dominated. And that was my message to her last year, was every time you step on the floor, you have got to be the best player on the floor, not just on our team, but on the floor. And I think she really took that advice and did what she was supposed to do. She went on a run, I think it was like 5-6 games, where she was averaging 20 and 10. And getting double-doubles every time she stepped on the floor. And then, Ashley, it can't be understated what she means to our team. I think she was the heart and soul and the backbone of this team. We dropped the game at Belhaven, where we led for 30 minutes and lost in the 5 minutes. And honestly, because she was hurt, but honestly, if she was there sitting on the bench, I feel like we win that game. That's just the type of impact that she had on our team. Alex, I think every time she steps out on the floor, there's nobody that can guard her. If she has the mentality that nobody can guard her, there's nobody that can guard her.
Yeah, facts.
And I think it's just really a mental thing for her. And then I felt like she was I took it as disrespect that she didn't make all conference. And so for her to go out there and do what she did in the conference tournament and then win MVP, and you saw those emotions, that's just the work that she put in.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think it was kind of disrespectful too that Andy was player of the year, it was first team, but there's no way that we don't get Ashley and Alex on first team and at least Nay on second team. But again, no disrespect to those people, but we see what happened.
It's actually crazy, because I don't know if you've seen the episode when I interviewed Andelin and Nene earlier in the year.
I saw some of it.
Yeah, they both told they were really appreciative of you and Coach Purdy. Y'all really bred confidence into him coming into the season. it's kind of why they had such successful years this year, both individually and as a team overall. So I just want to let you know that. But Coach, my next question is, you was talking about like how every year y'all gotten better as a program. Like, what are you and Coach Purdy trying to build here or trying to establish here at Piedmont?
Well, so when I first got back, one of the first questions I asked her, I mean, she's won 7 conference championships now.
Yeah.
And so I asked her, I'm like, what is next for you? And she was like, to make a run in this NCAA tournament. So I knew at that moment that we have to go, because it's players that win the game, right? We can put them in the right places, but ultimately we're putting our trust in 18 to 22, sometimes 23-year-olds to make right decisions and make shots, right? So being able to go out and get those type of players to be able to make the impact, like Andy's and Ashley's and the Nays and Kennedy's, like Ava, D2 transfer from UNG, like those are the type of players that we need to be able to make a difference at the NCAA level. Now in our conference, I think, this year we had a lot of depth. That junior class has 6 people who really got playing time for really the first time in their college career.
Yeah.
But they were huge. Like Kelsey had some really good breakout games. Brooklyn did as well. Haley ended up starting this year until they came back from injury. And so that depth is important, especially late in the year, because you really never know what you're going to get. I always tell people this. Like, I never knew which team I was going to get until the ball was up in the air.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like that Belhaven game in the regular season here was the best that we ever started, and we just never replicated that. Like, we always started out slow, and then we would have like really explosive second and third quarters just to kind of put people away, and then they would coast until the end. So we're trying to break them out of that mindset and just put people away, right? Yeah. And then you're not going to be able to get down by 12 and then try to fight back, because then that takes more out of you. Right, and then you almost have to play perfect basketball to be able to do that. But yeah, really just going after those players really that are too good to come here, because those are the ones that make the difference. Like Andy, again, was a D2 transfer from Young Harris, her and Kennedy. Ashley is a D2 transfer from Emmanuel. Ava is a D2 transfer from UNG. So those type of girls, along with, coupling them with the Brooklyns, the Kelseys, the Rileys, the Alexes, who also is too good to be here, to be honest. All of those blended in together, we just try to put the pieces out there for us to be successful. Yeah.
Now, Coach, I remember you told me about, Coach Purdy and how her goal was to go for an NCAA tournament. Y'all did make the NCAA tournament this year. I lost in the first round, but y'all still made it. That's a great accomplishment. But how did you and the team feel as a collective when y'all found out y'all made the tournament?
Well, we knew we was getting in, because for us, we have an AQ in the CCS. So when you win the conference tournament, you get the automatic qualifier. Now, I did speak to somebody. He does like a bunch of like the numbers. So our ranking system is called MPI. Yeah. And I had talked to him, and he was saying he did a hypothetical of if we only had lost to Emory in East Texas, we would have been 23-2. And I think we would have been ranked like 33rd or 30th in the country or something like that. And we would have got what's called a Pool C bid, which is if we don't win conference, we get that at-large bid type of thing. But so we knew we were getting in. It was just a matter of where we were going. And I think that we got a really good matchup with Randolph-Macon.
Yeah, I mean, that game was really hard, though. I mean, I played at Randolph-Macon.
Yes, a really good atmosphere. They brought almost all of Ashland, Virginia, what seemed like. Yeah. A really good basketball team, really fundamentally sound. But, I mean, we held their best player to 9 points. They averaged 67. We held them to 52. They shot 1 for 15 from 3, 5 for 13 from the free throw line. If you would have told me that and told me we lost, I would have laughed at you. I'm serious.
For real?
Yeah. Like that, I feel like defensively, we did what we were supposed to do. Kind of took them out of the rhythm. They run a lot of man, backdoor, all of this other stuff. So we played them in zone and forced them to shoot outside shots, which they did. I just think that we didn't play the way that we usually play, which is, pressing 30, 40 minutes a game. Yeah. So that kind of took us out of that rhythm. And that's the only thing really that I can think of, because we got the stops. We just didn't really get out in transition, and we couldn't score in the half court either.
Yeah. Coach, my next question is, how do you and Coach Purdy plan on building from the success y'all had this year going into the next season?
Sending the message to not be content. I think, I don't know this for sure. I mean, we have individual meetings this week, but I think a lot of them were just content with winning the conference tournament. And again, just trying to convey the message that that's the expectation. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
What we're wanting to do, and our goal is to make history, make a run in the NCAA tournament. And really, all you have to do is win one game and then win another one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier said than done.
One game at a time. Though.
Yeah, but I think it can be done. And what we do in the non-conference is we put them up against NCAA tournament teams. East Texas made the NCAA tournament. Oglethorpe was in a close game with Millsaps, who made it to their conference championship, but Center ended up winning it. Emory plays in one of the toughest conferences in the country against the number one team in the country, NYU. So we put them up against some really tough competition in the preseason to kind of get them ready for that atmosphere and that competition level of type of teams that we'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
But it's really just a mindset thing of, we are not content with winning, cutting down the nets, right? That's obviously a huge accomplishment, and a lot of people go their college careers and don't do that, but that's not what we're content with. That's what we expect you to do.
Coach, I know you talked about, Andolin and Ashley and Nene earlier. With their departure after this season, can you tell me what you'll miss most about their impact on and off the court?
Ooh, so yeah, for sure, Ashley was, like I said, the backbone of our team, the heart and soul. She was a leader. She's just one of those players that when she's out there on the floor, you feel really comfortable. I mean, there was even a couple of games where she went scoreless, but she affects the game in so many ways. Mainly her leadership. She's a vocal leader, and I think that's what we'll miss the most. Andy, I mean, I think it's self-explanatory.
Girl, she was. I think she averaged like 14 and 11 this year.
Yeah,
that's
she
crazy.
led the conference in rebounds, free throw percentage, field goal percentage, and I think she was like third in scoring. But we had 3 people that averaged 10 points on our team. So, that's really self-explanatory. And I think Nay is like a comedic relief. Like off the court, they like to pick on her, but on the court, I mean, she affects the game in so many ways as well, with her quickness and her athleticism, being able to get downhill, score at the rim, or play make for her teammates. Definitely 3 people who are irreplaceable. I think Andy and Ashley went out with record-breaking performances. Andy's 19 rebounds. I think she tied her for 3rd. And then for career, Ashley is in there for 3-point percentage. I think 3-point makes on a career. I have to go back and look, but so they will definitely go down in history, and they will be remembered as long as I'm here.
Yeah, they for sure cemented their legacy, especially like winning the CCS tournament. I know that's big for y'all. But on to the mental side questions now. My first question for you is: do you feel like mental health is important in the sports world, and why?
Absolutely. So what I've learned transitioning from coaching guys to girls is you can't speak to them the same way.
Yeah.
And girls will hold on to stuff for months and then have diarrhea of the mouth. And it's like, well, why didn't you just tell me that when,
Yeah.
So what I try to do is build relationships with each and every player to learn how they need to be coached to get the best out of them. Because you can't coach everybody the same, right? You yell at somebody and they respond to it. You yell at somebody else and they'll just shut down.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, checking in on them, making sure they're okay. Because I mean, this isn't easy at this level, and then for this program, for what we're trying to do. So I mean, it's a lot of quote unquote pressure. It's not pressure, but it's pressure.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine at those D2 and D1 levels where you're basically getting paid to go to school and play basketball. So you're doing a job essentially, and if you don't perform at your job, then you could get let go, which is why we see so much turnover in the transfer portal. But it's definitely important. And I think that, here we do a really good job of the support. We have the Starfish software, but we also have, the Student Success Center where we have those counselors in there so they can go and talk to somebody if they don't want to talk to myself or Coach Purdy. So we have the support there for them if need be.
Yeah. Coach, I know you talked about like building a relationship and rapport with your players, but what tactics do you do to keep your players fresh mentally?
In terms of practice or
practice in the games, if you're having a rush stretch, like how do you keep your players?
So we try to break the monotony of 6 days a week practice. So we have 6 days a week, 1 day off. But so one day we'll do like groups, and it's just skill development. Brushing up on some fundamentals of the game. But also I try to we try to do like fun stuff outside of basketball, just, to build some camaraderie. Like last year before we started, they all went to Coach Purdy's house and did like a team activity. So a lot of that stuff we put the onus on them to do because we don't want it to seem forced.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to build team chemistry as well. But yeah, stuff like that, just, throwing different stuff at them, trying to challenge them in different ways. And also encouraging them to build relationships with one another.
Yeah. Can you tell me, myself, and the viewers, the mental toll being a coach can have on you? So I know you talked about like the pressure or whatever just a little bit before, but I want to know like the mental toll being a coach can have on you.
Ooh, that's a good question. So during the conference tournament, like, I didn't really sleep that much. I don't know if it was like the anxiousness or what it was, but like you don't really sleep. You're watching a ton of film, so much so that I'm seeing synergy clips in my dreams. But yeah, it's because I want to be over prepared. That way they could be prepared for whatever it is that other teams might throw at us. So I feel like it's not even pressure from anybody else. It's just pressure that I put on myself to know as much information as I can. That way for any situation in any game that I can be prepared so they can be prepared. Yeah. But it's really just pressure that I put on myself because we're not really, like at this level, you're not expected to win.
Yeah.
At this level, but in this program we are. So that's what we try to, convey to recruits and also transfers as well. Like just across from us, there's banners up there. The 3P 18, 19, and 20. And
I'm looking at them right now.
Yep, we just added another one for 25. So it's the expectation here is to win.
Yeah. Coach, what makes having confidence an important factor for athletes?
I think confidence is one of the main important factors for athletes because if you don't have confidence, then especially within yourself, like I can have confidence in someone, but if they don't have the confidence within themselves, then they won't perform to the best of their abilities.
Yeah.
But your confidence comes from the work that you put in. So if you're not putting in the extra work and you're absent from the gym, then you're not going to have any confidence. Speaking of that, there she go right there. But yeah, so getting in the gym, getting extra work, working out with coaches or whatever it is, like that's where you build your confidence from. Whether if it's just seeing the ball go in the basket one time and now you have that confidence to do it over and over and over. Not getting bored with the fundamentals, not getting bored with the simple stuff, because that's really, at the end of the day, that's really what all it takes is just keeping it simple. And we tell them girls that all the time, just keep it simple, because a lot of times they just try to do too much. And 9 times out of 10, when you try to do too much, it ends up not going in our favor. Yeah. But yeah, I think confidence is a huge factor in anything. Like the reason that I'm so confident coaching is because of the preparation that I put into it. So you'll find this funny. I made the graphic for the conference championship the Monday before the conference tournament started.
Oh, wow. So wow, hold on. So you already knew y'all was winning the whole thing.
Yeah. It didn't matter I wanted to play Asbury in the championship because I felt like we owed them one. The girls wanted to play Belhaven because, they knocked us out last year, which either way, it really didn't matter. I was going to be prepared for either one. Really, I was most concerned and nervous about the LaGrange game just because of last year. And it was, they say it's hard to beat people 3 times. Yeah. But yeah, that was like, once we got through that, I was like, oh yeah, we got this.
Yeah, that's real. Coach, can you tell me the impact Coach Purdy has had on you as a coach?
Oh, I learned something new every day just being in the gym with her. Like, she has so much wisdom and she's helped me so much. Like just dropping nuggets every day of things that I didn't even think about. And I think it's like a perfect relationship with her and I, because I'm a real tactical type of coach, but like the psychological part and everything else, she is perfect at. So I think it's like a perfect combination of a tactician and a psychologist and a motivational speaker, just all blended in one. I'm serious. Like the things that she says and how she can motivate. Like sometimes I'm ready to run through a wall after listening to her talk. But yeah, she is amazing. She is a blessing to my life, and I'm glad that she allowed me to come back.
Coach, how has the sport of basketball helped or shape you as a person? I think
sports in general for athletes, people who play sports, coach sports, the confidence that it brings, the discipline. It builds leaders. I think it just builds better people. People who can function in team atmospheres, who can take charge and do the things like that some people don't want to do or are too scared to do.
Yeah.
I just think sports in general, kind of helped me with my confidence. Helped me. Wow, that's a good question.
I'll be trying, man.
That's a good question. For sure, it helped me with my confidence in just like everyday life, understanding. One of the things I told somebody else this too, like my parents, they instilled hard work. So applying the work ethic in sports to everything else that you do, I think is important. Helps you be on a schedule. Yeah. It could just help in so many aspects of life, no matter which way you look at it.
Yeah. Coach, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where are you traveling to?
Greece.
Greece?
That is on my bucket list. Greece. I want to go to Spain. But yeah, Greece for sure.
If you could go to the gas station and getting snacks, what three items you walking out with?
Is this before a game? Or just in general?
Actually, let me ask this question. If before a game, you get to go to the gas station, you get 3 snacks, what you walking out with?
I need a Celsius. I need the purple bag, the Doritos.
Oh, wow. Purple bag.
Maybe some gummy bears or something.
Okay, that's valid.
Or a different type of chip. But definitely a Celsius. If I can inject the caffeine into my veins, I would. Bro, I'd be tired.
You be tired. Do you be getting sleep as a coach, though?
Sometimes, I don't know, like the last couple of days I haven't been sleeping. I don't know why, because the season is over, but sometimes yes, sometimes no. When we go to hotels, I need to get some melatonin. That's what I need for real. Because I really don't be sleeping for real.
No, that's crazy.
This is probably unhealthy, but yeah.
Coach, my last question for you. If you could look back and give your younger self advice, what would it be?
If I could look back to my younger self, take that LaGrange offer.
No, that's real.
Take it as it comes. Like everything happens for a reason, and knowing that God has a plan. I think my life played out exactly how it was supposed to, and I'm thankful for it. But definitely, I think that's my only quote unquote regret in life is just not taking the opportunity just to get that experience of playing college basketball. Yeah. So yeah, definitely take that LaGrange offer.
Coach, before I end the pod, man, I did sell this past year as a navigator. And, what I used to always tell the kids was, like, let's be great today, give them type of motivation or whatever. So I'm going to say it with you, but on 3, we're going to say let's be great today.
Okay.
And, in the episode. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's be great today. Yes, sir, Coach. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All right, Lifetime family, that is the end of the Coach Christian Buckmire episode, but y'all stay tuned on Wednesday. I have Piedmont women's volleyball players Katie Hubbard and Bryn White coming on the pod. So like I always say, man, let's be great today, and y'all stay tuned for more.